Hello students, welcome to zoology class. In this video, we are going to discuss about types of vertebrate hearts. First of all, let us know about the development of heart. So in the embryonic stage, we know that three germ layers will be there. So out of them, from mesenchymal cells, the heart and circulatory systems will be developed. So on the ventral side to this archenteron, these mesenchymal cells will be there. From these mesenchymal cells, two endothelial tubes will be developed. Later, these two endothelial tubes will fuse with each other to form a single big tube. And this single big tube is called as endocardial tube. So on the ventrolateral sides of this archenteron, on the ventrolateral sides of this archenteron, this coelom sacs will be there, and the coelomic sacs are covered with a splanchnic mesoderm. So this splanchnic mesoderm will fuse with this endodermal tube. This splanchnic mesodermal layer will fuse with this endocardial tube. So this endocardial tube will fuse with this splanchnic mesodermal layers. This splanchnic mesodermal layer forms the myocardium part. We know that in the heart walls, three layers will be there. One is inner one is endocardium. Epithelial cells will be there in this endocardium. Middle layer is muscle layer. Heart muscles will be there. That one is called as myocardium. And uppermost part of the heart is called as epicardium. Out of these three layers, the myocardium and epicardium will be developed from this splanchnic mesodermal layers. And the inner one, endocardium layer, will be developed from these endothelial cells or mesenchymal cells. So mesenchymal cells, first mesenchymal cells will be there. These mesenchymal cells, they will form two tubes. They are called as endothelial tubes. Later, these two endothelial tubes fuse with each other to form single tube. This single tube is called as endocardial tube. This endocardial tube fuses with this splanchnic mesodermal layers. And the splanchnic layers, they will form myocardium and epicardium of the heart. Inner one, endocardial tube will form endocardium layer of the heart walls. So in the initial stages, this endocardial tube will be very long one. Later, the coelomic tubes will be developed a diaphragm in between them, so that now behind these endocardial tube, a diaphragm will be developed that will divide the total coelom into two chambers. The later one is called as abdominal cavity, and in the thoracic cavity, this heart will be there. In the thoracic cavity, heart will be there, and later this behind this diaphragm will be there to separate the abdominal cavity. So in the initial stages, the heart will be tube-like. Later, due to the variations in the different developments due to the differences in the developments in the various regions of this tubular heart, now later it will become differently differentiated, and it will take this type of structure. So these are the different stages in the formation or in the development of heart. Now let us see an overview of the hearts of the vertebrates. So The 5 major groups of vertebrates are fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. So when we see the evolution of the hearts in these 5 groups of mammals, 5 groups of vertebrates, fishes will be having a 2-chambered heart. Only one auricle, one ventricle will be there in fishes' hearts, whereas the 2-chambered heart is evolved into a 3-chambered heart in amphibians. The single auricle in fishes now is evolved into a 2-chambered auricles in amphibians, one right and another one left auricles. So this amphibian heart is 3-chambered heart, and in reptiles this 3-chambered heart is more evolved into a incompletely divided 4-chambered heart. So 2 auricles are there, and in the ventricles an incomplete partition, an incomplete wall is developed, dividing it partially. So in reptiles, incompletely divided or incompletely partitioned 4 chambers can be seen. Whereas in reptiles, crocodile group, we can see completely divided ventricle. So 4 chambers, 4 completely divided chambers are present in crocodiles. Whereas in birds and mammals, in both these groups, heart anatomy appears the same. So 2 chambers, upper chambers are called auricles, and lower chamber, the ventricles are also completely divided like crocodiles. So 2 ventricles also will be there. So in all these animals, if we see from amphibians to mammals, and the right side of the heart, deoxygenated blood, which is shown in blue color in these diagrams, can be seen. On the right side of these, on the right side, blue color or deoxygenated blood can be seen. On the left side, oxygenated blood can be seen. So as there is no partition in the ventricle in 3-chambered heart of amphibians, the impure blood coming from right auricle, pure blood coming from left auricle, both these 2 bloods will mix up in the ventricle. So mixed blood will be sent out of the heart in amphibians. Whereas in reptiles, the mixing is mostly prevented as incompletely divided condition is there in the ventricle, and it is completely prevented in birds and mammals. So in birds and mammals, the right chamber is completely having the deoxygenated blood. Left part of the heart will be having completely oxygenated blood in them. Whereas in case of fishes, fish's heart will receive only impure blood. From this heart, the blood will be sent to gills for purification or oxygenation. The oxygenated blood from the gills directly goes to the body parts instead of coming back to heart. So that's why in fish's heart, we cannot see oxygenated blood at all. That's why the fish's heart is called as venous heart. So only impure blood or deoxygenated blood flows through the heart of fishes. Now let us compare the 3 different groups of fishes. So in the first diagram, we can see the heart of elasmobranch or cartilaginous fishes. In the second diagram, teleosta or bony fishes heart is there. And in the third diagram, dipnoi fishes or lung fishes heart can be seen. So in the heart of all these fishes, actually we can see 4 chambers. So the firstmost chamber is called as sinus venosus. Second chamber is auricle, A auricle. Third chamber is ventricle. and fourth chamber is conus arteriosus. So out of these four chambers, only the middle chambers, auricle and ventricle, these are real chambers of the heart. Remaining two, sinus venosus and conus arteriosus. These two they are accessory chambers. They are not comparable to the chambers of the mammals or aves or reptiles. So these are only accessory chambers. So the sinus venosus, in all the fishes, sinus venosus receives blood from all body parts through different caval veins. So pre-caval veins, post-caval veins will be there. And in elasmobranchs, apart from this pre-caval, post-caval veins, hepatic sinuses will be there. From the hepatic sinuses also, they will receive blood. So blood received from hepatic sinuses and common cardinal or Cuverian ducts. So all the blood collected from all these ducts will be sent into the auricle. And at the junction where the sinus venosus opens into the auricle, a pair of valves will be there which prevent the backward flow of the blood from auricle to sinus venosus. And from this auricle, blood will be entering into the ventricle. Auricle is in dorsal position to the ventricle. So it is above the ventricle. And from this ventricle, a conus arteriosus will be there. And in between the this conus arteriosus and ventricle, some walls will be there. They will prevent the backward flow of blood back into the ventricle. So the blood entered into this conus arteriosus. Now later travels into this ventral aorta. From this ventral aorta, 6 pairs of aortic arches will be arising. So these 6 pairs of aortic arches, they will take this blood, deoxygenated blood coming from ventricle to the gills for oxygenation. So 6 pairs of aortic arches will be there. These 6 pairs of aortic arches, they will carry blood to the gills present on both sides in the in the gut region or in the lateral sides of the gut region. So after that, oxygenated blood from the gills directly goes to the, will be supplied to the all systemic organs. And coming to the teleas, in teleas also sinus venosus collects blood from hepatic veins. In case of elasmobranchs, hepatic sinuses will send blood to the sinus venosus. In teleas, hepatic veins will collect blood from this liver region, and they will send the blood into the sinus venosus. And from sinus venosus, blood goes to arteries, from there goes to ventricles. And when compared to auricles, the walls of the ventricles are somewhat thicker. So they are highly musculated than the auricles. So auricles, they will only passively receive the blood from the sinus venosus, whereas ventricles, they have to pump blood forcefully into this ventral aorta. So for that purpose, to withstand the pressure, the walls of the ventricle have developed a little more muscles than the auricle walls. So that's what we can see in the ventricles of these 3 different groups of fishes. So in coming to here, after the ventricle, conus arteriosus is that much not developed in this teleosteal fishes. Instead, bulbous arteriosus is there. So bulbous arteriosus is the beginning portion of the ventral aorta. So it bulges out, and whenever the ventricle is pumping blood, whenever it is contracting, then bulbous arteriosus receives more blood from the ventricle. At that time, the bulbous arteriosus walls, they will swell a little. So, and again from this ventral aorta, 6 pairs of aortic arches will come. So these aortic arches, they will supply this deoxygenated blood to the both sides gills. And in dipnoi fishes, it is somewhat different. The auricles and ventricles, they are partially divided, but not completely divided. Partial division will be there. So partial wall will be there. So they are dividing the auricles into two, right auricle and left auricle. Likewise, ventricle also is divided into right ventricle and left ventricle. And again, here in dipnoi fishes, sinus venosus receives blood from precavals and postcavals. So the postcaval will receive blood from hepatic veins, whereas in elasmobranchs and teleos, hepatic veins and hepatic sinuses, they will send directly blood into the sinus venosus. So here in dipnoi fishes, as we can see in amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and aves, 3 precaval veins will receive blood from all body parts except lungs, and they will send this deoxygenated blood into right part of the auricle. Whereas the left part of the auricle will receive a common pulmonary vein, which will be bifurcated into 2 branches, left and right. These left and right pulmonary veins, they will collect blood from the lungs. Here in the dipnoi fishes, they do not have lung, but air sac will be there. That air sac acts as a lung in them, and air sac also helps them in floating in the water. So air sac walls are highly vascularized. So the oxygen carbon dioxide exchange will be done in the air sac. So the oxygenated blood will enters into this left part of auricle through this pulmonary artery, as a pulmonary veins. So the pulmonary veins are special feature which we cannot see in any other fish groups except this dipnoi fishes. So in this regard, the dipnoi fish appears similar to the amphibians. So later these bloods from this right and left auricles, they will enter into ventricles, and from ventricles, they will finally enter into ventral aorta. So in this conus arteriosus will be there. In conus arteriosus region, the valves will be there to prevent the backward flow of blood. So this is about 2-chambered heart in 3 different groups of fishes. And coming to amphibians, in amphibians, urodelans are there. So in urodelans also we can see the right and left ventricles are not completely divided. In remaining amphibians, right and left ventricle, left auricles are completely divided. So 2 chambers will be there. Ventricle, only 1 chamber will be there. In the auricles, as it is incompletely divided, so we cannot say 2 complete auricles are present in urodelans. And this auricle also, it will be having a hole. Foramen of Panizza will be there. This foramen of Panizza, it will allow the mixing of blood in right and left parts of the auricles. So like we have seen in dipnoi fishes, sinus venosus will be there. It will receive blood from 2 precavals and 1 postcaval. And from lungs, oxygenated blood will enter into left auricle through pulmonary veins. And ventricle, this ventricle will enter into, or it will continue as bulbous arteriosus. From this bulbous arteriosus, you can see 3 pairs of aortic arches will come. So these 3 pairs of aortic arches, they will send blood to different parts of the body. Of them, the 6th pair, it will take blood to the lungs. for the purification. And in the aneurons or frogs, the auricle is completely divided. So right and left parts are completely divided. So left part receives blood from pulmonary veins, oxygenated blood. Right parts will receive blood from sinus venosus. Deoxygenated blood will enter into right part. So both of them here in this conus arteriosus or truncus arteriosus will be there. So this is also will give of three pairs of aortic arches. Of them, the last one, the 6th number one, they will take blood to the lungs for the oxygenation. Remaining the first pair, the 3 number ones, the first pair, they will supply blood to the head region and forelimbs region. And the 4th one, this second pair of these aortic arches, they will supply blood to the all remaining body parts in the body. And coming to reptiles, so two types of conditions can be seen. In one is crocodilian heart, and next one is remaining reptiles. Here in this diagram, we are seeing a squamatone's heart. So in squamatone's heart, ventricle is incompletely divided, whereas in crocodilians, ventricle is also completely divided. So 4 chambers are there in crocodilian heart. In remaining reptiles, 4 incompletely divided chambers will be there. So precavals, and here in the sinus venosus opens into right auricle only, and pulmonary veins condition will be similar to the amphibians. And from the ventricles, see, bulbous arteriosus or conus arteriosus will not be there. Instead, from the ventricle directly, 3 different arteries, 3 different major arteries will be arising from the ventricles. One is pulmonary trunk. It will send blood to the lungs for purification. Second one is left aortic trunk, and third one is right aortic trunk. From this right aortic trunk, again, carotid arteries will come. These carotid arteries, they will supply blood to the head and neck region. And this right aortic artery, left aortic arteries, they will supply blood to the remaining organs in the body. So in the region where this right aortic trunk or right aortic artery and left aortic artery, the region where both these two cross each other, there one pair will be there. This one hole will be there. So from this hole is called as foramina of Panizza. So this hole allows the mixing of blood from this right and left aortic arches or aortic trunks. So this is about the heart of the reptiles. So the only difference in between crocodilian hearts and remaining hearts is that crocodilian hearts is completely divided, ventricle is completely divided. In remaining all aspects, the reptile's heart is same. And in birds and mammals, also 4-chambered heart is there. In this, the only difference with reptiles is that sinus venosus will not be there. Instead, the precavals, 1 postcaval, 2 precavals, 1 postcaval, they will independently open into the right atrium. Whereas in reptiles and in amphibians, the sinus venosus is receiving blood from precavals, postcavals, and sinus venosus is opening into the auricle, right auricle, through a single aperture. In amphibians and in reptiles also, this condition is same. So sinus venosus is opening into through a single aperture into the right auricle. Whereas in birds and mammals, 2 precaval veins and 1 postcaval vein, they independently open into the right auricle through three different apertures. Whereas the pulmonary veins are also, they also open separately into this left auricle. So this is the difference between remaining groups and birds and mammals. And from these ventricles also, only two aortic arches will come. One is left aortic arch and another one is right aortic arch. Right aortic arch will supply blood to the lungs. So that's why it is called as pulmonary artery or pulmonary trunk. And another one is left aortic arch. From this left aortic arch, again, several different blood vessels come, and these blood vessels, they will supply blood to the head region, neck regions, and shoulder regions. After giving off the branches to these different parts, later the left aortic artery continues as a dorsal aorta, and this dorsal aorta supplies blood to the remaining body parts which are behind the heart in the position. So this is about the different vertebrate groups and the hearts in the different vertebrate groups. With this topic is over. Let us meet with another topic in next class.